Victoria 3's Dev Diary number 5, entitled Production Methods, was posted on June 24, 2021. In it, we got a very good look at Victoria 3's ambitious approach to buildings, and what sets Vic 3's buildings mechanic aside from other strategy games. While each building can be upgraded, the benefits are far more nuanced and circumstantial. There are no benefits without side effects. Simply because you can change a building's production method doesn't mean you should. Each building will have 4 different categories of production methods, each of which have somewhere between 2 and 5 options to choose from. I'll read this next part as it's written. Base governs the general tech level and efficiency of the building, produces goods typical for the building type. Refining reduces output of typical goods in favor of output of specialized or luxury goods, sometimes adding a special input. Automation adds industrial goods as input to reduce the building's unskilled workforce requirement. Ownership determines who owns shares in the building, typically governed by laws. Within the Dev Diary, we see a captioned screenshot of what a building's interface may look like. If you'd like to pause and take a closer look at it, you may do so now. Otherwise, I'll move on to more pertinent info. I believe the examples contained within the Dev Diary actually illustrate the system they're designing very well. As such, I'll be doing my best to summarize the paragraphs on screen. An iron mine's base production method determines if miners use simple tools or advanced pumping mechanisms. Furthermore, what type of pumping mechanism you choose determines what kind of fuel, as well as how much fuel, is used up in the process. Furthermore again, the presence of advanced machinery requires qualified engineers and machinists to actually operate them. Specifically relevant to mines is the invention of explosives. You may opt for nitroglycerin to be utilized in your nation's mines, allowing for more minerals to be generated at the cost of explosives, as well as suffering an increased number of workplace accidents. The invention of dynamite will gain you even more minerals in exchange for even more explosives. However, the number of accidents will go down due to the nature of dynamite versus nitroglycerin. Steam donkey engines can be deployed in mines to reduce the amount of required labor for hauling materials. This will increase the cost of operation in terms of consuming coal and engines, but will decrease the cost of operations in the form of workers' wages. This will further free up laborers who can then go to work in other jobs around the state. While this may sound like a no-brainer decision to make, it is quite the opposite. If the workers' wages are already low and the need for unqualified labor is not high, then there may be no benefit to implementing the use of engines in hauling. Many mines will begin as simple buildings owned by merchant guilds. Once they begin to industrialize, however, capitalists will take ownership. Capitalists will take the profits they make and reinvest some of it into the country's industry. The more profits, the more they invest. Eventually, mines may be changed to become publicly traded, nationalized and run by government bureaucrats, or turned into cooperatives split between the workers. Government administrations, railways, and universities will all have alterable production methods as well. Through their respective buildings, paper will be consumed to produce more bureaucracy. Engines and fuel will produce transportation and infrastructure, and academics research technologies and ideas. Virtually any kind of currency, modifier, or effect can be produced by production methods, reads the Dev Diary. Making life easier is the game's building panel, a helpful tool which provides an overview of each building in the country sorted by type. You can view all rural buildings, furniture manufactories, or ports through this system. Each type of building can be broken down, with the view ranging from countrywide to state by state to individually. The building's profits are listed, and the production method for each or all can be changed through this panel, allowing for quick transitions. Also included in the game is a prediction tool, minimizing the need for mental math. This tool will show you the projected impact of your changing a building's production methods, including profitability and employment demand. We see an attached screenshot within the diary which demonstrates the functions of this tool. Switching from prioritized non-luxury clothing to craftsman sewing results in 20 less units of clothes being produced, but 40 more units of luxury clothes. 20 more silk will be consumed, and 400 more shopkeepers will be needed to staff the building, while 400 less laborers are required. This will result in a net increase of 71.8 pounds. However, the tooltip warns that the nation does not have enough qualified pops to fully staff the building under this new style of production. While it may be tempting to simply choose the production methods which result in the largest profit margin, there are many factors to consider. To quote the Dev Diary, you must keep in mind the societal effects as well. Are there enough pops in the state that qualify for the more advanced jobs this new process requires? Will the wage for these new jobs be sufficient to entice those pops to switch professions? Will you inadvertently create a whole new class of well-to-do machinists that may have pro-labor union sentiments? Or will the increased profits not lead to higher wages in the building because they're already competitive and fully employed, and will simply result in more dividends for the shareholders, which will be funneled into increased luxury consumption? Which you choose might depend on your population's social mobility, what politics you favor in your country. A socialist uprising may not be in your plans, and whether you're able to supply luxuries yourself without benefiting your rival. More profitable domestic industries are never bad, but should be far from the only consideration when building your society. Finally, for a community as interested in modding as paradoxes, the devs promise this system to be very customizable and brimming in meme potential, a key selling point of Paradox games. I am Nick Applesauce, and that is just the facts of Dev Diary number 5.